Hello and welcome, everyone. I am Dr. Hailey Nelson, your friendly pediatrician, and I am also ambassador for Safe Kids Central California and hosting our Lunch and Learn series, which today is episode 20. So thank you, everyone who has tuned in and joined us along the way. We've had so much fun filming these. We've got lots more planned. And for today, we're actually celebrating child passenger safety, and I have a special friend who I'm going to introduce in just a minute. But before I get to that, one of the fun things that being part of Safe Kids has led me to is actually pageantry. So I entered into the Dr. America pageant, which is this weekend. So I will be competing on Saturday for the title of Dr. America. So I am your current reigning Dr. California America. Let's get the whole slash. There you go. Cheese. And really using the platform that we have here, and that as a pediatrician, I just want kids to stay safe and be well. And this outreach is so important to me. And I just want to pinch myself from when we first got started and I said, okay, let's do 6 episodes. Like here we are, episode 20, we're filming 21 tomorrow, and we're just going to keep rolling. So I love what we're doing. I hope that you are joining us and having fun and learning some things. Feel free to message in the chat box, communicate with us afterwards. If you don't catch this live, that's fine. We'll respond to you because we really want to make jobs as parents easier. So if you're a parent or caregiver, if you have little ones in your life, like that is a hard job. And we're here to kind of give you those updates, give you those little tips, things that might not be on your radar. So I've said a lot. I'm going to let Kristina introduce herself, and then she and I can go on and on about car seats today. So Kristina, thank you for joining.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson, and congratulations on Dr. California America. That is so awesome, and we will be cheering you on here in Central California for Dr. America. There is no one that is more deserving of this award, and I personally have to thank you for putting yourself out there in multiple ways to help us in our mission to keep children safe. So as Dr. Nelson said, my name is Kristina Pasma. I am a registered nurse. I work at Valley Children's Hospital in the trauma department. I am also the coordinator of Safe Kids Central California, and we cover Fresno, Madera, and Tulare counties. And I'm also a child passenger safety technician instructor. So I am, for lack of a better word, the crazy car seat lady at Valley Children's Hospital. I love car seats. I'm so excited to celebrate Child Passenger Safety Month and to talk to you guys a little bit about one of my favorite things.
Yeah. Well, and for those of you who don't know, Kristina and I, our friendship started over car seats. So when I came to Valley Children's and realized that there were children who needed a special needs car seat, that there was something unsafe about that situation and needed a little extra help, I got connected with Kristina, and now she gets lots of emails and referrals from me and helps our families. So it's a really big deal that we have her as a resource at our hospital, and that then she's able to teach others, because the course is not easy. So, you think about as a parent, oh, I can install a car seat and it comes in the box, there's the manual, you buckle it in. But like, no, there's people who actually take courses. So Kristina, will you tell them, like, how long does it take to get that level of training?
Sure. To become a car seat technician, just a general technician, it is a 40-hour course. And I will tell you, full transparency, that before I took this class, I was like, 40 hours, like, what are they going to teach me in 40 hours? Well, there's things like seat belts, different vehicles. Obviously, if you've gone to a baby store, you can see there's hundreds of car seats. And how do you know which one to use and the age that you use it with your child and to properly install it? To become an instructor, it's an additional 80 hours of education that we do. So I've done a lot of seats along the way. I am partnered with so many amazing agencies and people that are out there in our communities that are working really super hard to keep kids safe. And this is our week next week. So just want to shout them out because they work really super hard to keep our kiddos safe.
Yes, they do. It takes a whole village, and we've got so many amazing people in our community who care about kids riding safely. Like, it's getting from point A to point B without getting in an accident. And if you do get in an accident, you want that seat to work the way that it's supposed to. And there are some things where then it kind of voids the warranty, essentially. Like it it can make your seat unsafe, and then your seat fails or it doesn't work as well as you want it to. So what are some of the things that you've noticed? Because I know that there's all sorts of stuff that you've seen, but what are kind of some big no-nos or pieces of warning that you want to give families for, you've got that car seat, but if you do this, it might make it not work?
Sure. So one of the first things that I just want to mention to families is that car seats have an expiration date. So just like your milk can go bad, your car seat can go bad over time. If you think about it, our cars get really hot, especially here in Central California. And over time, that plastic can degrade. It's not as strong as when it originally started. A general rule of thumb is a car seat can last about 6 years, although there are some manufacturers that have an extended life on their seats. And if you want to find out what your expiration is on your seat, there should be a little sticker on there. It's going to give you a manufacturer date, and you can usually count about 6 years from that, or even contact the manufacturer and find out what their expiration date is. Because like I said, there's always an exception to everything, just like in healthcare.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good point. So the car seat's expiring, and then the heat. It is so warm here. I used to keep the hand sanitizer in my car, but then it kind of like boils and it's too hot to use. So now it stays in my purse. And that's another piece too. So where you put your purse and where you put things in a car, that's something that I learned about through kind of the love of car seats and realizing that there are other elements to your car. So your child's restrained, but do you want to talk a little bit about the other stuff in our car and what we need to do?
Sure. So, and this is, I will be, again, I said, fully transparent. As a mom, I've got 3 kids. And I didn't realize that for most of their early childhood, I was driving around unsafely. And when I say unsafely, it's because we were driving around with lots of things inside the car that, should we have gotten in an accident, could have become a projectile. So typical things that families have in there, maybe toys for their kids. It could be your purse. It could be, if your kids are older, backpacks, even when we go shopping. So all those groceries that we have in the back. I've seen dads that use their family car as their work car too. So those heavy tools that you have, strollers, all of that stuff is not tied down in any way. So if your car were to roll over or, hit something where it would stop abruptly, those things keep moving just like we do. And Lord knows we don't want to get hit by a matchbox car or a water bottle or even a pen or a pencil. All of those things that we kind of just don't even think about we keep in our cars.
Yeah. So once you brought that to my attention and really like looking around, I already knew for our animals. So when our dogs ride in the car, that they are then in their kennel, or then our bigger dog, he's such a sweetie, he has his own like harness that clips in, like, so he gets seat belted in just like the kids, because pets become projectiles. And so really you've got to kind of, when you look around your car and when you finish watching this day and when you're driving home, the next time you're in your car, like look and see like, hey, if my car rolled over, or if even just an abrupt stop and like things go flying, what could actually hurt me? Because there's stuff in there that we just don't, you don't think about, because you toss your purse in and you're ready to go. But taking that extra time to move things to your trunk, like really actually securing the objects in your car so that those car seats are working and that you don't then accidentally, you're restrained, but you still get impacted by something that was inside your vehicle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even things like our cell phone. I mean, our cell phones are pretty heavy. Like if you had to stop abruptly or even roll over, I mean, this could cause significant injury to someone.
That's a good point. All right, so car seats, I'm like, you and I could just go on and on about them. One of the areas that I wanted to talk about was actually when kids get bigger. Because I think everyone knows that you have your baby, you take them home in the car seats, you got the little infant one, then we go to toddlers, and so you go to that convertible seat. California, keep them rear facing until at least age 2. But if you talk to me, Kristina, or anyone else who loves car seats as much as we do for safety, you can stay rear facing past 2. That's just the minimum requirement. But then we've got that, like, when do you go to a booster and how long you have to be in a booster? So that covers a wide age range for kids. So can you tell us a little bit more about what to look for that?
Sure. So in the car seat world, we say that boosters are for big kids. Excuse me, are for big kids, because the only thing that is holding the child in the vehicle by that time is the seatbelt. So a lot of our car seat manufacturers have done an amazing job of having their harnesses go up to weight limits of 65 pounds. Some have even extended it to 80 and 90 pounds. If you can keep your children in that 5-point harness to that weight limit, as well as, the height limit of the seat, that's even better for your child. They have extra protection. It's going to hold them back, much like what our NASCAR drivers wear when they're driving their cars. The booster seat simply just lifts them up so that when you put that seat belt over them, it's going to fit over their shoulder, kind of like the mid collarbone area.
Like the sash.
You like the sash. And then it should go over their hips, over the hip bone. So if you're putting your kiddo in and that seat belt doesn't fit over the hips, maybe it's coming up on their belly a little bit, then they're probably still too little to ride in that seat. And to answer your question about how long they should be in that booster seat, well, let's talk about the law first, because law is always going to give you the minimums. So in California, the minimum age is 8 years or 4'9" tall. But I can tell you from my experience working in the emergency room, also working with our trauma program, that if you can keep your child in a booster seat until that seatbelt fits them much more properly, and there's a 5-step test, and we can talk about that in just a second. If they can pass that test, then they're good to go for that seatbelt. And for most kids, that's 10 or 11-ish age. And I know that a lot of kids that age, they're embarrassed to be in what they consider to be a baby seat. Some of the car seat manufacturers have actually created some really creative seats that instead of boosting them up where it looks like they're sitting on that baby seat, they've got devices or car seats, or actually booster seats, that attach to the seatbelt and bring the seatbelt down to the kids so it fits them better. So they're actually sitting more on the vehicle seat, where if you were to roll up at school, someone's not going to see them sitting on that. It's a little bit more incognito.
So we don't want you feeling teased or anything like that, but it really comes down to keeping your child safe. And you're hearing it, that yes, there's the law that says age 8, but a lot of kids don't hit that height or then don't pass that 5-point test. So we're going to include in the link for today's video that actual picture, because I think it's helpful that if you have a child and you're trying to see, okay, when do you get to get out of your booster seat, you can go through the 5 steps with them. And it's kind of like, I joke that it's like a amusement park and like waiting to see, like, am I tall enough for the next ride? Like, are you tall enough? But also you have to meet these other milestones to go to that next step. And anytime we switch from, when we go from the convertible seat to the booster, like whenever you're making a step, you're actually decreasing the safety. So that rear facing seat is your safest. And when you turn around, you lose a little bit of the safety, but they get to see. So there's that balance there. And we really want to keep your child safe. If you have a child with special needs, because you guys know that's my love. That's what I do over here in Charlie Mitchell Clinic at Valley Children's, is complex care. So if your child you don't feel like they fit the traditional seat, or there is something going on, reach out to your pediatrician. They will get you in contact with someone like Kristina. So if you do not live here and have the pleasure of working with her, that's okay. There are car seat technicians everywhere. There's Safe Kids coalitions everywhere. And there are people who want to help you to make sure that your child is riding safely.
And I think that's really important to include, because not all of our kids fit in this little box. Our kids come in different sizes. Some are really tall, some are really short. Some kids are a little bigger than other children. So when it comes to car seats and seat belts, there's not one size fits all or one rule that fits all. That's where we come into place. That's where your car seat technicians come in. We're trained to help you. We can take a look at your kid. We can take a look at your vehicle, because not all vehicles are made the same either. Wouldn't that be great? And also we can look at the developmental level of your child, because some children will just never sit in a booster seat because they won't keep that seatbelt on. And Dr. Nelson and I work with a lot of those families and to try to find ways to transport their kiddos safely because their needs are a little bit more unique. So, contact your local Safe Kids Coalition. You can find them at www.safekids.org. Or you can just go and Google and say, find a car seat technician, and it's going to take you to a database with that lists out car seat technicians in your area. And the majority of us do it for free. We want to help you. We want to keep your kids safe.
Yeah, so we'll provide some links after this video today, because it sounds like we have some good content to share, and certainly tune in tomorrow because we're going to be actually talking with Safe Kids Worldwide. So hearing a little bit more about this organization and all the work that's being done. But Kristina, thank you for what you do and for all the child passenger techs out there. I hope you have an awesome week next week and feel appreciated, because there's so many families that have benefited from the work that you guys are doing. So buckle up, stay safe, and be well. Thanks for joining.
Bye, everyone.